What's up, y'all? What's good? Welcome to the What Up Though Show. It's your boy Dame D, and we are back with another one. Today, I'm going to be talking about footage came back from the Baltimore Police Department. They released the footage and body cam of the 70-year-old woman who was shot and killed by Baltimore Police Department. I'm gonna wait for a few of you guys, a few people to check in before I show footage and the video of what happened. But another sad situation of Baltimore police. Um, who actually knew that this woman was having a mental they knew that this woman had mental issues, and they still went into this woman's house, tased her, and still end up shooting and killing this woman. Like I said, I have audio and video of this situation. I'm gonna play once a few people chime in and check in. Yep. So, yeah, just another situation, and it's a sad situation to the point where, and it was a black officer who shot this black woman. You know what I mean? It seemed like they would have been able to do more you know, um, than having to shoot her. They tased the woman and apparently it didn't work. One of the officers tripped, you know, and when he tripped, the other officer, the lady still had the knife in her hand, and it looked like she was coming lunging towards the one officer who tripped, and that's when the other black officer shot and killed this 70-year-old woman. To me, it seemed like it would have been more or something else that they should have been able to do, besides shooting and killing this woman. A 70-year-old woman, all he had to do was like either try to trip or stick a leg out, and they probably could have tripped her or, brought her down like how they do anybody else, how they take young black men down, with no problem. You know what I mean? And they had a problem with trying to take a knife out of this 70-year-old woman's hands, taking her down, taser again. You know what I mean? If the first one didn't work. So, I'm going to go ahead and show footage of the situation. So give me 1 second and I'll get back to my commentary after I show the police, after I show this video, I should say. So here we go. Give me 1 second.
Telling you today, Baltimore City Police released the body-worn camera footage that we've been waiting. We've been telling you today, Baltimore City Police released the body-worn camera footage that we've been waiting for when an officer shot and killed a woman armed with a knife and lunged at them in West Baltimore. They were called to that home for what was a behavioral health crisis after the woman allegedly attempted to stab a loved one. WJZ live at Baltimore City Police headquarters at 5:30. Stefan Dingle has been following this story from the beginning. And Stefan, you break down what this video shows, and you also have reaction from police tonight.
Okay, I can be heard.
That's right, Rick. There was 2 911 calls that came in to police that day.
And they knew that this woman was having a mental issue. I believe it was her son who actually
coming from a caseworker who wanted police to conduct a welfare check. And as you will see in the body cam video, officers attempted to make several attempts to de-escalate the situation before they say they were left with no choice but to enter the home of Patasha Brooks to get her the help she needed. And we do want to warn you, the video you're about to see may be disturbing.
Drop the knife. Get down.
On Wednesday, Baltimore police released a body cam footage showing the moments Patasha Brooks was killed by police after she lunged at officers twice with a knife.
An individual had attempted to stab someone, so 3 officers arrived at the beginning. Other officers came because there was a potential stabbing.
Family tells me it was her special needs son who lived with Patasha Brooks, who was allegedly stabbed by the 70-year-old. That's who had the keys to let officers in through the back door before Miss Brooks blocked their entry. Police say the home had no working electricity at the time and had a strong odor. They said it was clear they had to get her back to a hospital for care, as heard by EMS attempting to calm her down.
All right, Ms. Brooks, listen to me. I'm trying to be nice here. So, Ms. Brooks, if you don't answer my questions, I'm going to have to take you out of here. I was just at the extreme power. That was like 6 What year is it?
But it was clear at one point, you heard it on the video, that she had to go to the hospital to get evaluation. It was, like I said, 97 degrees, and you see the house is all shut up.
Commissioner Worley says only 1 officer on the scene had that certified behavioral crisis training, although all officers receive an annual training to keep up with the high volume of mental health crisis calls. He also says it's important to keep in mind the difference of the officer-involved shooting that happened a week prior to the one in the Upton neighborhood.
In the first case, you have an individual who shot an officer. In this case, you're having a lady who's clearly having a behavioral crisis. that needed help, and we were trying to help her. And it ended up in an unfortunate, tragic incident.
So, there are still a lot of questions that cannot be answered right now because this is under investigation by the Attorney General's office. Now, as far as the behavioral crisis training, police did say that all of their officers do receive this behavioral crisis training, and they're working to increase that for all of their officers across their department. As they tell me, they get at least 5.
You know, see the whole thing. Hold on, let me pause. Okay, yeah, their training, that's some bullshit, because they knew that this woman had mental issues before they even got out there. It's another video showing the police that they were out in the backyard, planning to go in there. It was the son who actually called, you know, um, for them to come out. You know what I mean? So it's another situation of when the police is called out for help. Someone always ending up shot and dead. By the police officers. You mean to tell me that there was nothing else that they can do to be able to apprehend or detain a 70-year-old woman who had a knife in her hand? No one could have grabbed her like that by her arm, or they couldn't have tripped her, or they could have at least shot her with a rubber gun. They knew that going in there. They should have been prepared. With more than just a tether. They should have had somebody in there who was protected to be able to grab the knife or something like that, or distract her so that they can take a knife. They went in there, pretty much and murdered this woman, and now they're trying to, I'm not going to say cover this situation up, but they're giving reasons on why they're trying to cover up this situation. A 70-year-old woman, it should have been handled differently. You know what I mean? So I need for you guys to give me your opinion, your thoughts on this situation. Do you think the police handled that situation fucked up, or they could have handled it differently? You know what I mean? So the chat is open. Let me know what you guys think about that situation, because I just did a story not too long ago, about a young woman who called the police out, because she thought that she heard intruders outside, and you had two officers that came into her house, and one of them ended up shooting and killing this woman, shooting her in the head, over a pot of boiling water. You know what I mean? So, and the police knew that this woman had mental issues, and they still was not prepared, to go in there and handle that situation, you know what I mean, professionally. They went in there and they shot and killed this woman, and it was a black man who did that, so I would like to know you guys' opinion on that situation. I just want to bring that out. They just released the footage today. They're making up excuses already on why they shot and murdered this 70-year-old black woman. You know what I mean? So give me you guys' opinion. Like I said, the chat is open. Let me know if you think there was something else that they could have done to to be able to get this 70-year-old woman under control, besides shooting and killing her. It's another disgrace, to the police department. That could have been anyone's grandmother. They need more training. They need to be able to have other people besides the police, when they know it's a mental case, when they're going out on cases that's dealing with, people who's having mental issues. It's always, to me, it seems like it always ends in someone losing their life, and it shouldn't have to be. If they're getting proper training, show us cases where, training comes into effect, and you're able to, put these people, able to arrest them without harming them, or no one getting harmed. You know what I mean? Because like I said in the video, even when the woman had the arm up, she wasn't even close to the man. They stopped it right there. They really wasn't transparent with the video. There's other videos out there that's actually showing the actual videos without them stopping and pausing it, so you can see how close and that she was not to the officer. At that point, his life was really not in danger. You know what I mean? It's almost like, to me, like they get striped for shooting and killing people. So I'm not going to hold you guys up longer. I just want to bring this footage to you and show you guys, what happened and how they're trying to cover it up already. So it's your boy Dame D, and I am out. Peace.